What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 23:40 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Asia, Eastern Europe, and different parts of the world. So we have some new information coming in about the mysterious drones over New Jersey. Multiple sources are now reporting that these drones are coming from the Atlantic Ocean, that's from the eastern direction, and most of these drones were spotted in northern New Jersey. Okay, so they're coming from the Atlantic and flying into New Jersey. And that is very suspicious, guys. It most likely is Russian reconnaissance drones that are being launched from Russian or even Chinese warships off the coast of New Jersey. That's what it sounds like to me. I could be wrong. Okay, now in addition to that, we have some very, very concerning news coming in from Australia. Apparently, hundreds of deadly virus samples are missing from a laboratory in Australia, the Queensland government announced on Monday. The government has instructed Queensland Health, Australia's public health department, to launch an investigation into what's being described as a major historical breach of biosecurity protocols, according to an online media statement. It was reported that 323 vials of multiple infectious viruses, including Hendra virus, Lissa virus, and hantavirus, went missing from Queensland's Public Health Virology Laboratory in August of 2023. Wow, guys. 323 vials. That is insane. Hendra viruses, Lissa viruses, hantaviruses, and who knows what else. Probably all different types of bioweapons. That is very, very concerning. And this evening, we have a nuclear war command and control plane up in the air over the Central Plains. We also have some aerial refueler activity over Missouri. And I do believe that this is for that doomsday plane that was airborne earlier this afternoon. It must still be airborne, and they're refueling that doomsday plane. And we also have some concerning information coming in from Eastern Europe. So the French President Emmanuel Macron is going to be arriving in Poland soon to discuss a joint peacekeeping mission in Ukraine, according to Polish news. Macron's plan is based on the Korean scenario, according to which a foreign peacekeeping contingent is introduced to the line of contact. It could consist of 5 brigades, about 40,000 soldiers. Warsaw could take command of one of these 5 brigades. Okay, so we know that Zelensky met with Macron and Trump just a few days ago, and now Macron is heading to Poland, obviously to discuss what was discussed in this meeting with Trump and Zelensky. So it looks like Trump is going to propose some kind of a DMZ like in Korea, and NATO peacekeepers are going to be deployed to the line of contact, and Poland would send an entire brigade of soldiers. This is absolutely huge news. And on December the 10th, that's today, a Russian drone struck and severely damaged an IAEA service vehicle on its way to the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, according to Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. The service vehicle was going to the ZNPP for a personnel rotation. And the Russians are claiming that a Ukrainian ATACMS missile was launched at Taganrog, Russia today. It is unclear if this ATACMS missile was shot down or not, but an industrial enterprise was damaged in Taganrog, okay? So Taganrog is near eastern Ukraine, And the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, announced the delivery of dozens of Russian nuclear warheads to Belarus today. He also stated that Belarus would select targets for strikes with the new Russian Oreshnik ballistic missile if it came down to it, if this Oreshnik was deployed in Belarus. And Lukashenko also stated that the Oreshnik ballistic missile has already been deployed in Belarus, and if it came down to it, Belarus would be responsible for selecting targets for strikes. Okay, so this is very, very serious, guys. Lukashenko confirming that Russia has given Belarus the Oreshnik and nuclear warheads, and giving Belarus the authority to select targets. And the Israeli army has announced that they have launched 480 airstrikes in Syria within the last 48 hours. That is insane, guys. We know that earlier today, the Israeli army announced that they destroyed 70 to 80% of the Syrian army's capabilities and completely wiped out the Syrian navy in Latakia. And this has been the largest air campaign by Israel in the history of Israel. Okay? There's never been an air campaign that the Israeli Air Force has launched as big as this one. All right? And they're targeting everything: Iranian targets, Hezbollah targets, Syrian chemical weapons facilities, Syrian navy, all kinds of stuff. And the Syrian rebel forces have fully captured the city of Deir ez-Zor in eastern Syria, which was previously controlled by U.S.-backed Kurdish forces. Hassan Abdul Ghani, the commander of the Syrian rebel forces, confirmed this today. And the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces have begun to withdraw from the city of Deir ez-Zor in eastern Syria. So it looks like we have multiple factions here, okay, fighting for control of Syria. We have the Syrian rebels, we have the Kurds, we have the Syrian Democratic Forces, and they're all fighting for control of Syria. But it looks like these Syrian rebels are winning right now, and hopefully they're not going to be some extremists like the Taliban or ISIS. And Syria's new government announced it will move away from a state-controlled economy to a free market economy to attract investments. So that is some good news. So let's just be positive, cautiously optimistic. That's a good sign that they're embracing capitalism. And John Kirby said earlier today that apparently Assad is in Moscow, but they don't know exactly where he is in Moscow. Okay, so Assad and his family are in Russia. And according to statements from former intelligence officials of the Assad regime, apparently Assad smuggled a total of $135 billion out of Syria before he fled. That is insane. And Ukraine's intelligence service says that Russia is actively retreating its key holdings in Syria. Russian Ilyushin 76 and Antonov 124 heavy lifters are evacuating the Khmeimim air base, while multiple Russian ships are heading towards Tartus to begin a sea lift. Okay, so Russia is evacuating all of their bases in Syria. So this is a huge loss for Russia. Okay, they had a major naval base there. They had a major air base there. They had bases along the border of Israel. Well, all of those bases are being cleaned out now. So this is good news for Israel and the West. Bad news for Putin. And General Michael Kurilla, the commander of U.S. Central Command, visited bases in Syria today and held meetings with Kurdish forces. So this is pretty serious when Michael Kurilla visits bases. And U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor John Feiner said that American troops are staying in Syria because they have an important mission to complete there. And Iran's foreign ministry on Tuesday rejected the joint statement issued by the UK, France, and Germany criticizing Tehran for enriching uranium to near weapons grade, saying Tehran was acting within its international rights. And over the last 2 months, Iran has been supercharging their nuclear program. Obviously, they want to declare themselves a nuclear state as soon as possible before Trump takes office. And in Taiwan, tanks were seen outside of the Taoyuan International Airport and other locations in Taiwan as the Taiwan military remains on high alert ahead of Chinese military drills, which are ongoing right now. And these Chinese military drills are practicing a blockade of Taiwan and an attack on any outside military forces that come to Taiwan to help. So this is very, very concerning. And Ukrainian drones hit a massive oil refinery in the Bryansk region of Russia earlier today. And Dmitry Medvedev arrived in Beijing for an official state visit. And Hungary has vowed to block potential EU sanctions on Georgia over protest crackdowns. Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó has pledged to veto a proposal to impose EU sanctions on Georgian government officials for their crackdown on anti-government protests. And South Korea deployed its anti-aircraft laser weapon system officially to frontline units. And Yemen's Houthis say they targeted 2 American destroyers and 3 accompanying vessels in the Gulf of Aden and launched strikes on the Israeli cities of Jaffa and Ashkelon. And U.S. Navy destroyers USS Stockdale and USS O'Kane successfully defeated a range of Houthi-launched weapons while transiting the Gulf of Aden from December the 9th to December the 10th, according to the U.S. Central Command. The destroyers were escorting 3 U.S.-owned, operated, and flagged merchant vessels. The reckless attacks resulted in no injuries and no damage to any vessels, civilians, or U.S. naval assets. And Senator Mitch McConnell is receiving medical treatment after falling in a Republican meeting. And that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. Check out my 24/7 live stream for continuous updates and to listen to our nuclear forces. We have had a lot of emergency action messages today, so our nuclear forces are on very high alert. We know that Russia has closed their airspace over Kapustin Yar through Friday, potentially due to another ICBM strike on Ukraine. And it could even be nuclear this time, guys. Who knows, okay? Putin is going to want to make his moves before Trump gets sworn in, okay? But I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. Follow me on Twitter and Telegram. I post all my updates over there. The links to my Telegram and Twitter are in the description below this video. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. Culinary out.